What's up, everybody? Welcome to another amazing edition of the Evening Alpha. I'm your host, Todd, from the wonderful, brilliant, the best project in the fucking universe, Adult Fantasy. Happy Monday. How are you guys? How is everybody? Oh, hey, what's up, Regis? What's up? I didn't fall asleep. I'm here. I'm good. You know, some nights I say 10:30, and some nights 10:30 means 10:45. It just really depends on the children and how fast I can get like a cup of tea going and everything set up. I had to restart the computer, so it took me a minute. What's up, everybody? So before we jump in and we check out comments, I see everybody's coming in. What do we do here? What is this about? Well, this is the Evening Alpha. It's really just a chance for us to, together as a group, go through the news, talk about what's actually happening, and try to formulate some plans for the coming days and weeks and months ahead. Really, it's a way to get out of our own heads and look at it from the perspective of professional NFT collectors, traders, makers, builders. What makes this show different than everybody else and every other show is, well, this is not a traditional YouTube show. I'm not shilling anybody else's project here. You're never going to see the 5 best NFTs to get today, or the 10 NFTs you should sell immediately, and whatever, all that clickbait crap. We're here really just to relax, celebrate the end of the day, and really see what's going on, like see if we can actually formulate some plans and formulate some thoughts. Who am I? My name is Todd. I'm a 26-year veteran of the comic and animation field. Proud founder / co-founder of Adult Fantasy. What is Adult Fantasy? Well, designed by a team of industry veterans from Marvel Entertainment, Cartoon Network, and Adult Swim. Adult Fantasy helps its community members, whom we affectionately call adults. We help them develop a world-class character-based universe via decentralized world building and lore creation. So this inventive bottoms-up approach, we think is a radically new method applied to IP development and character franchise creation. And it's only made possible by cutting-edge Web3 technologies. And so we believe that this decentralized creation protocol is the future of creative IP franchise development, licensing, publishing, and collecting, everything, all of it. So we are glad you are with us, and we are glad you are here. So let's check in on chat. How you guys doing? Let's see. We got Willie D. What's up? Welcome back, Willie D. Let's go. That's right. Welcome. Coffee, what's up? Welcome. Ray just made it. You did make it. Flint, what's up, Flint? How you doing? How are you, bud? All right, Ray just tearing me up for falling asleep. J-Raw, what's up, man? How are you? Welcome. What's up, everybody? Hey, Hype, happy Monday. Everybody's piping. And Dusty, if you hear it, make sure to drop something in chat and know who to send. Bamf. Yep, we're gonna get some Bamf. Nothing like a bribe to get you in the door. Hype says we should have a game to see who can make Todd laugh the most. You know, that actually is probably not a bad idea. It's pretty easy. Actually. One day I'm gonna get your name, dude. Greg. What's up, fam? What's up, dude? Welcome. Too bad we can't send gifts. Yeah, I know. Hey, Flint, how's it going? Awesome. So what are we talking about today? This weekend was pretty boring. Not much happened in the space. There wasn't any crazy drops or anything, really. It was really boring. I got a lot of sleep. Yeah. Just slept the weekend away. Well, it's not actually true at all. Actually, unless you were sleeping under a rock, everybody here pretty much knows that the Bored Ape Yacht Club / OtherSide drop was released on Saturday evening. It was absolutely batshit crazy, absolutely insane. Not for all good reasons. Some were good reasons, some were bad reasons, but we should talk about it. I was there for the play-by-play. commenting and watching and at least trying to participate. So we should, we're going to read a little article about it, and we'll talk a little bit about behind the scenes and some stuff that some people are talking about in the space, get some perspective on it. So let's jump in. We're going to share this, get this over here. Let's pop this up. All right. So this is the public, the basically the public written word about it, the press about it, but we're going to dive in a little bit and talk about it. Gas wars and failed transactions, the true cost of Other Deeds. Yuga Labs' Other Deed made a huge impact when it was minted last night, but not in the way that the team hoped. Sky high gas due to disrupted network. Other Deeds has certainly made its mark. Yuga Labs' Other Deed mint was always going to be massive. As the dust settles on the most seismic drop in NFT history, the numbers are boggling. 320 million was raised for the 55,000 plots of available land, but the prices are already up 4x on the secondary market and continue to rise. Gas fees soared as high as 2 ETH. People paid thousands for failed transactions, and the Ethereum blockchain buckled under the strain. It actually went higher than 2 ETH. I witnessed 2.5 to I think it almost hit 3 ETH on my side. I mean, it was crazy. The second the mint went live, I was watching it because I had my gas estimators and everything set up, and all day on Saturday it was like 26 Gwei and all nice and really sweet and kind of cool. I was like, oh man, this is really going to be a nice day. I was like, yeah. I had planned for Gwei to be about 1,000. Early discussions on Twitter when everybody was thinking about, everyone knew it had the potential to be a gas war. Pretty much everybody knew it was going to be a gas war, but most people were planning on it being maybe 1,000 Gwei. So for comparison, if you know what that, a normal launch, 1,000 Gwei, you're probably looking at maybe like, a grand or two, maybe less than that, $700 for a mint. Not much comparatively. I mean, $700 for a mint is ridiculous, but not much compared to what it actually ended up being. So I spent all day just planning and getting everything ready. I was going to go buy two plots, and from the public sale. And so I moved some ApeCoin around, and I put some ETH together, and I figured, okay, general consensus is about 1,000 Gwei. 1,000 Gwei, I don't think I'd ever really seen, maybe once or twice. It's like, okay, it's gonna be high. So I put about an ETH, I think, a little over an ETH for gas. I was like, all right, I think I can. That's about what I can do. I mean, all right, cool. And then got ready for the launch, and 9 o'clock happens, 9 p.m. and the website goes live. Like at 9:01, the website goes live, and instantly, the minute it refreshed and the site went live on my slow ass connection, I looked over at the block checker that I had, the gas tracker stuff, and it jumped from 27 Gwei to 8,000. 8,000 Gwei. And to put that in perspective, that was it started at the high 2 ETH, like 2.8, 2.6, something like that. And it never, I mean, an hour and a half later, like towards the end, because I was waiting, I was like, well, I'm screwed. The problem when Gwei is that high, it's not just for the sale, it's for the entire network. So I couldn't sell, I couldn't trade, I couldn't move anything. So there was no way for me to get in, right? Like at one point towards the end of the sale, I saw that the gas had dropped to like 4,000. The Gwei had dropped to like 4,000 or 5,000, and it was like 0.1 or 0.2 above what I had available. And I was just like, oh my God, it was the most painful thing. It sucks so hard. So I basically, I mean, the minute it went live, I was like, oh shit, I just became a spectator. Because there's nothing you can do. The whole network is like that. I even tried to go over to Uniswap thinking that somehow I could cheat going around the blockchain, when of course you can't. So like, even to move, like, if some random person who had no clue about Bored Ape or had no clue about the drop went to Uniswap or went anywhere else and tried to just like convert money, like if you wanted to do USDC to ETH or whatever, their gas fee would have been around anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 on average. So it was absolutely, it was the whole network. It was insane. Nobody could do anything except mint this thing. The whole network was down. It was crazy. I mean, I think at one point they shut down. They actually crashed EtherScan, which was just nuts. So it says, Will Pepper said, nearly 100 million has been spent on gas for the Bored Ape Yacht Club land sale in 1 hour. This is money that could have gone to Yuga or stayed in users' pockets. The contract is nearly zero gas optimizations. I'll explain a few gas optimizations tricks that could have saved many millions below. So I read his post. Now there definitely could have been, I think, some gas optimizations. It's not totally fair. Like what Will Papper brings up is maybe they could have used Azuki's 721A contract and some other things. It wouldn't have been completely optimized because Azuki's 721A requires sequential drop, and basically this drop was not sequential, meaning they actually were minting whatever the numbers were after Bored Ape Yacht Club and Mutant Ape Yacht Club. I think the number started at what, like 30,000 or something. So it was not sequential. With that said, they certainly could have done something. There are so many things that they could have done to solve this. I'm sure there were a couple of gas optimizations they could have done on the contract. Beyond that, you've got 55,000 lands to give out. And then I don't remember how many people KYC'd in, but I think it was like 130,000 people. So you knew that there was going to be a clog. So why don't you roll it out? Like that's what we did with Adult Fantasy when we did our launch in December. Basically what we did was we did like one group on one day, another group on another day, and we just slow rolled it out. You could have done the same thing here. You could have said, okay, Bored Ape Yacht Club members, you're going to do it on a Monday, and Macy, you guys are going to do it on a Tuesday, and then, batch it out so that you're not going to smash the fucking network and destroy everything. I don't know why they decided to do the entire drop in one beat. I know that there's a lot of speculation that it was done on purpose to pump their ideas for a chain, but I've got some news on that as well. So stay tuned on that. The biggest mint in NFT history, Yuga Labs has already branded OtherSide as the largest mint in NFT history by several multiples, and few would argue. The NFTs represent plots of land in the upcoming Yuga Labs metaverse game OtherSide. A single plot set buyers back around 5,800 plus gas. The price of ape has been climbing steadily in the days and weeks preceding the drop. It's declining now, of course, because the hype is over. As prospective buyers queued up to grab a slice of history, collectors were informed in advance that they could only use ape to purchase, although ETH would be needed to cover gas fees. So they're talking about Yuga Labs is talking about EtherScan crashing. This has been the largest NFT mint in history by several multiples, yet the gas used during the mint shows the demand far exceeded anyone's wildest expectations. The scale of this mint was so large that EtherScan crashed. Yeah, they had whoever was handling like the OtherSide and Yuga Labs' Twitter needs some serious help, because they really didn't help things during the launch. There was also a KYC requirement. Buyers had to hold their ETH and ape in the wallet that they used for KYC. The sale was originally planned as a Dutch auction to ease blockchain congestion and keep gas fees down. There's a lot of argument about this. I personally do not believe that. I don't believe that doing a Dutch auction would have helped. Personally, I do not like Dutch auctions. I think it FOMOs people in at the higher tier, right? Like it's a way to get more money, great, but you're just incentivizing whale behavior, because the people who are whales are not going to wait; they're just going to jump in. And Bored Ape has enough whales because of the airdrop and because of Bored Ape, that I think if they had done a Dutch auction, you would have seen the exact same gas war just among whales, and people would be pissed that that the land, that 55,000 plots of land never got below 6 ETH or whatever. Like, I don't think people would have been happy with that. I know a lot of people like to claim that, and I know there's other Dutch auctions like reverse Dutch auctions where you refund money, but I don't think it would have been a good play personally. This was going to happen anyway. They just needed to slow roll this shit out, in my opinion. The idea was scrapped. Dutch auctions were scrapped and replaced with limitations on how many deeds could be purchased per wallet, just 2. A high clearing price of 305 APE was also put in place. These measures were supposed to keep the network congestion to a minimum, but they either weren't adequate or demand was simply too high. The Ethereum network was hit by significant disruption. Transactions failed and gas prices soared above the value of the other deeds. It cost roughly $6,000 to mint a $5,800 NFT, and that was even if the transaction went through. Yuga Labs have since apologized for turning off the lights on Ethereum for a while. They also promised to refund gas fees to anyone whose transactions failed in the bottleneck. Other big drops have caused congestion and pushed fees up, but this is the largest disruption in the history of ETH. Yeah, the interesting thing is that, and I have this somewhere, I don't know if I actually have the image somewhere, but there was an image going around of a farm, basically a server farm in North Korea, where like these guys, the North Koreans were sitting in front of like monitors, and all the monitors had the OtherSide homepage on it. And North Korea bought a lot. Right now, if you go and you look at some of the high paying or high offers on OpenSea, the ETH addresses are North Korean, which is interesting. It's interesting to see governments actually coming in to buy this up and kind of start to run the network. It's fascinating. The cost of hype. None of this should come as any surprise. Hype surrounding the mint couldn't have been much higher. Even OpenSea got into the action, sending mass emails to inform users that it would now be accepting APE to buy deeds on secondary. Yuga Labs' valuation rose to nearly $4 billion when the metaverse game was announced. A recently released trailer suggests the other side will be an MMORPG. Players will use their NFTs as avatars and playable characters. Yuga Labs hasn't released many other details apart from confirming that they're working with numerous game studios. Nicole Muniz, CEO of Yuga Labs, boldly claimed that OtherSide will render, quote, all other metaverses obsolete. Combine this with success of BAYC, soaring APE prices and hype flooding in from seemingly every angle, and it's not difficult to see why even the Ethereum network couldn't cope with the strain. The deeds sold out almost as soon as they went on sale. BAYC and MACY holders will be able to claim their deeds within 21 days. Yuga Labs also added that the APE coin generated from the sale would be locked away for a year, meaning that it won't affect voting in the ApeCoin DAO. It also means that it's eliminating supply, which should assist, and I would think that the supply, since you're limiting the supply of the ApeCoin on the market, it may help price, but who knows. Intriguingly, the price of APE has since plummeted, perhaps because secondary sales on OpenSea can be conducted using ETH, depriving some of the utility-focused coins of their utility. No, people loaded up on APE because they thought they were going to be able to buy dozens and dozens of these things, and they weren't, right? There was also a misconception that you were going to be able to buy. I didn't see where you could buy land on secondary on OpenSea using APE. I see offers in APE. You can do offers in APE. But my first instinct was like, screw it. I'm just going to go to OpenSea because I was loaded up on Ape too. And I was like, okay, well, I'll go over to OpenSea and just buy it on secondary. And I couldn't do it because it was all in ETH. So it never gave me personally the option to buy secondary, to buy land on secondary in Ape. So I think what you're seeing is just people had it loaded up and it's time to dump it, and they'll wait until it hits whatever. I think it's at 15 or 14 right now. They'll probably wait till it hits 12 or 11 and you'll see it buy back. Was this a successful mint? Despite a rapid sellout, the mint left a bad taste. Even Basic co-founder Garga admits that it was a sour moment and it didn't go how anyone wanted it to. As gas fees and failed transactions mounted up, users took to Twitter to voice their displeasure. Many expressed disbelief that a team so as prestigious as Yuga Labs could allow such a chaotic mint to unfold. One person complained that the saga cost him 2 ETH in gas in 2.5 hours that he could have spent with his family. That's nothing. I saw someone spend $44,000 in gas and lose it. So now they did say Yuga did come out and say that they're going to refund anyone who lost gas. So they're going to refund all the lost transactions, which is cool. But man, like, yeah, I mean, you still have to sit there for however many days or weeks because there's a lot of thousands and thousands of people. And you just have to sit there and wait for this money to come back into your wallet. It's probably a shitty experience. Others took a more humorous tone and dubbed April 30th as the day of the Great Gas War. Yeah, for sure. The mint cost nearly 100 million in gas. It was actually higher than that. I believe at one point it had 140 million is what I had heard. Anyway, the mint cost nearly 100 million in gas, and there was also criticism for not incorporating many gas optimization techniques. On this point, Vitalik himself waded in to suggest that contract optimization might not have made any difference and the problem was market-based. This led other users to conclude that the mint itself was flawed. And Vitalik says, don't think optimizing the contract would help. Regardless of contract details, transaction fee goes up until list price plus transaction fee equals market price. If basically what people are willing to pay, right? If gas usage per purchase decreased 2x, the equilibrium gas price would have just been less than 12,000 Gwei instead of 6,000. Looking to the future, Yuga Labs obviously feels that it's outgrown its current infrastructure. The team suggests that it's now abundantly clear that ApeCoin can only scale on its own chain, a move which will have to happen sooner or later. This appears to be the future, and they urge their DAO to start thinking about how this could be implemented. Everybody involved in last night's mint will probably be counting the days. So before I share the other things, I'm going to pull up. I didn't pull this up before. I'm going to see if I have this in my Twitter account here. So the interesting thing about this is that did I bookmark it? I probably didn't. I didn't bookmark it. So the interesting thing is that one of the main guys on the board, let me see if I can type this in. No, I'm not going to be able to find it this quick. One of the main guys on the board actually came out and was like, hey, we're on the board. The idea that there's going to be an ape chain is news to us. It's news to Yuga. It's news to them. It's news to the board. It's news to the DAO. No one's been talking about that at all. So apparently, at least from Yuga Central, the idea of ape chain was rogue. Somebody rogue. Whoever wrote this seems abundantly clear that ApeCoin will need to mitigate its own chain. Apparently, that wasn't approved by Yuga Labs, by the board, by the founders, or by the DAO. So no one knows where the hell this is coming from, and nobody's taking responsibility for it, which is fascinating. Let's see. This has some interesting charts. You can kind of see what burning 70,000 ETH looks like. So this is burning 70,000 ETH. So you can see that giant spike was the mint. That's how much ETH was burned in gas fees, which is just crazy. Absolutely batshit crazy. What are you guys saying? They got J. Russ says, Richard Hart, please save us. We need Pulse Chain to come out already. Yeah, I know. Isn't it coming out in like 2 weeks or something? That thing is almost ready. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be an interesting launch. I'm sure we'll be talking about that too. Yeah, It's this was absolutely crazy. Let's see if there's something else in here. 56% of all burns over the past 7 days happened on Saturday. Figure is significantly ahead of second place OpenSea. Like, look at that. Look how much ETH. Just absolutely batshit crazy. And then I wanted to, so some of the behind the scenes stuff that's really interesting. There were a lot of crazy players that were in this game that, I mean, nothing is fair, right? Like I would never say like, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, it wasn't fair. Like you just kind of play the hand you're dealt. You know what I mean? Ray just says, who gets paid off the gas fees? The miners do. So basically that money was burned and went to the miners. So Hype says, I just sent that tweet to the Massive today. Yeah, it's crazy. There was a lot of crazy shit that I saw behind the scenes. Like first, North Korea is all over this. And I believe they're one of the top buyers now of like the real expensive land. Like if you go in fact, let's see if I can find it. There's a buyer called White House, which is funny. Here, I'm pulling up OpenSea. Let me see. Give me 1 second. If it loads. If it doesn't load, it won't matter. Yeah, so there was a buyer called White House, and I was like, oh, that's a funny name, like White House Vault or something. And I clicked on it, and it's North Korea. They literally own north-korea.eth. And they just own all this land. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. So it's like, oh, okay. So you've got, and then of course I saw photos of North Korea, or from North Korea, of just teams of people like loading up and doing on this, which is interesting because what it turns out, what I heard and what was going on through Twitter was that KYC is great, but I guess you could get around it by people just minting directly through the smart contract. So KYC did basically nothing to stop anybody from anything. It did like absolutely nothing, which I found really interesting. And this is another story that's really interesting. And apparently this is true. Like there have been people who have researched the story, and supposedly this is absolutely true. There's been a couple of different sources who have tracked the history of this post and this person, and they're like, yeah, this seems to be true. And another party confirmed that, yeah, this kid was 15. They confirmed that they were the other side of the story that this kid is talking about. So it's how I turned $0 into excess of $17 million USD over the past 1.5 years with NFTs at the age of 15. And I'm going to read this later. Maybe we're actually going to do this tomorrow because this could be really interesting. But basically, the long and short of it is that he ended up, and I'm going to tell you the rest of the story later, but basically what he ended up doing is he ended up becoming like the number 2 owner of land in the OtherSide. So he's 15 years old and he owns however many 100 plots of land. And there was another guy that owned like 200 plots of land or something like that. So they're just absolutely killing it. This is interesting. My opinion as a day one OG of the Bored Ape Yacht Club on what happened last night with the Yuga Labs drop. So Ape Father's been in the game for a minute. He's day one, so he minted on mint day, and he's been pretty vocal about stuff. It says, the drop went unbelievably poorly. That's the truth of it all. The initial thesis was that not enough KYC wallets exist for it to sell out in wave 1. Not only was that incorrect, it sold out with 2+ E in gas the entire way, a nightmare scenario. The reality is that the KYC processed was gamed somehow, or the data was exuberantly incorrect. No matter which, this drop did nothing to help further the distribution of the already popular Yuga community. The same 27.5 thousand people bought. I brought many friends into the space for this drop. They were loaded with fresh ape and a little ETH for gas, 0.25 ETH on average. Our initial thoughts were that we could simply wait out the initial heat due to the data we saw. That's basically what I did. We were very wrong. The impossible did indeed happen. My friend said things like, "Who would ever use Ethereum?" And quote, "NFTs are only for rich people." And to be honest, I agreed with them. Although my initial reactions were filled with emotion, I agreed. How is this going to prove we are, quote, innovating? Gas stayed at 6,000 to 8,000 Gwei the entire time. I felt beyond entitled to be able to spend 1.5 ETH in gas if needed during the drop to succeed. To my surprise, that was about half of what I needed. I lost money and wasted 4 hours of my time on a Saturday night. So yeah, I was angry. But my initial reaction was hyperbolic a bit. This is the top. Ethereum is dead. Sell it all. If I truly was in a sell it all mindset, I would have listed this ape you see right now, but I didn't. I was angry that the value of my extra ape had dipped bad. And that's another thing. Like I guess people are upset because some of their apes, now that the hype is over, the apes have taken a dip again in price. The other criticism that Yuga is getting is that if you go to the OtherSide website and you look at the map, the island that surrounds the founder, the center of the island cluster, the first cluster of island, like those are, I think it's like the first 200 and something, maybe the first 300. Because they're so close to the center and because they're so close to the founder, that's where all of the founder plots are. Those Bored Ape numbers, all of those are selling for like 300 ETH now. Like regardless of what's on it, even if there's no coda on it, there's no mega coda on it, there are no rare items or anything. Anything within that circle is selling for like 200 to 300 ETH. 1 to 300 basically. I'm right outside of it. 344 is, I got some like nice waterfront property over there. So I'm close, but I'm not in that circle of like 300 ETH. So I don't take offense to that, whatever. But a lot of people are like, why are you dividing the community? Now there are some Bored Apes that got something better than other Bored Apes, which I find fascinating because that's the whole game of rarity anyway. Like, some people get the gold fur and some people don't. Some people get the rainbow teeth and some people don't. So I find it interesting that because it's almost like they added a second rarity tier, but because they almost George Lucas did, right? Like adding multiple rarity tiers like we have at AF is fine if it's announced and people get it from the jump. But I think what the problem that Yuga has is that the rarity for Bored Ape and Macy and all that is already baked in. Like everybody knows it. So all of a sudden to go and see that you have something that is less valuable than somebody else purely by token ID was not. It was a surprise. Again, I wonder if Yuga could even have known that the cluster would be more valuable. Maybe they did. I assume they would have to, because that's kind of the way the metaverses have been working. But people are upset by a lot of things. Mastiff says, "Hello, Etherscan. What's up? What's up, Mastiff?" Hi, T says, "A lot of people lick there are other NFTs and then bought Ape, and that also dipped too." Yeah, that's happening as well. I think that's short-term thinking. I still believe, and I'm not a maxi by any stretch, but I do, based on what I see and the other founders that I talk to in the space, everybody is going to be accepting Ape at some point in the near future. So I do believe that ApeCoin has the ability to become the coin of the metaverse. And I think that may even be Yuga's like big win outside of Bored Ape. Like if OtherSide crashes tomorrow and everyone hates the game and everyone just leaves and goes boo and Yuga just ends, I think Bored Ape Yacht Club is a win. It obviously is a win. And I think that the ape coin is going to be used as a gaming coin for metaverses for the next decade at least. So I think I mean, not financial advice, and I'm not don't trust me for shit on this. But I'm planning on holding as much as I can. And if it dips, I'm going to buy it, because I think it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if it hits like 100, 200, 300. Like, it might take time. It might take a couple of years. But look at Solana. You know what I mean? Like, and I know Solana's not, much bigger than ApeCoin in terms of like what it is. But Yuga has brand name recognition. Everybody's talking about ApeCoin, and everybody's accepting it as well. So I think ApeCoin has a bright future. So everyone that dumped their portfolios to hold ape, as long as they hold that ape and don't sell on the dip, I think they're going to be okay. In my humble opinion, not financial advice, do your own research, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So a father, he says, I was angry that the value of my extra ape had dipped bad. Yes, I said extra ape. The level of entitlement and greed in that phrase alone should tell you where my mind was at. I was thinking in pure bias of my investment, and although I have come down off the ledge, I still have some opinions on why I'm selling some of my assets. This unfortunate stages of grief I went through last night from the drop was eye-opening and helped me see some key realities of our space. I will list them out below. Yuga Labs made me a millionaire. I am beyond spoiled, humbled, and blessed to be in this situation because of them. You guys messed up last night. That being said, I will always be your number one critic. I was here since day one and will be here till the last. I think he means number one fan, but whatever. I believe in their abilities. Yuga will transcend and do well. To counter that, I have decided to begin liquidating a lot of my Yuga NFTs, not because I quiver in my belief in Yuga, but because of the community. The next hard reality deals with the reactions from the community. The community responded atrociously to this mint. The level of doomsday talk, similar to myself in the moment, was terrible. Our bag bias was much too prevalent, but almost worse than that was the level of arrogance. Too many apes and mutants had let the money begin talking. I don't know if it's the money begin talking. There was definitely a lot of back and forth. Like there were people like, ape versus ape. It was interesting. It's the first time I've ever seen like, one holder would be like, oh, this was horrible, and the next holder would say, well, it's fine. I did see some dumb shit like people saying, oh, well, if you can't handle paying 2.5 ETH for gas, then just don't play the game, which is fine if it's announced that it's going to be like that. You know what I mean? I think people are just upset that they wanted to participate and they couldn't participate. And some of that is Yuga's fault, right? Some of it isn't. I think it would have been very, very hard for Yuga to not have a gas war because of how popular it is. And that's a problem with the entire chain, right? It's the whole market is like that. They needed to have done a raffle system and launch this thing over the course of a week, and that would have solved the entire fucking problem. But they didn't do that. They wanted the excitement. They're really good at building hype, and they wanted to drop it in one fell swoop, and they got what they deserved. They should have thought about this more. They did not think about the drop. They thought about the website. They thought about the technology. They thought about the artwork, which is stunning and gorgeous. They did not give two shits or think, in my opinion, about the actual drop. They said, yeah, we'll just launch it today, and we'll try to limit gas wars by limiting everyone to 2 pieces. People were pissed off that they could only get 2. So everyone was going to be mad. It was never going to be a win. I've never seen a launch where everybody was 100% happy. There's always somebody that like is upset. Now, when you do something wrong, it's even worse, right? When you do something wrong, you're going to get heat for it. It says, Yuga made you rich. Your airdrop is still up 10x. Ah, yes, the classic Yuga made me rich, so I'm no longer validated to give my opinion. The idea that I should shut up and watch it happen because before Yuga I wasn't rich, so why does my opinion matter now? The level of arrogance and ignorance in these statements last night were atrocious. Yeah, I made a lot of money on Yuga, but I hold on to my humility and underdog mindset. I never wish to lose that. Crucify me the day I start glorifying 2 to 3 ETH gas transactions, please. We have begun to stray from the beginnings. The tone and arrogance in our interactions with others is getting worrisome. I don't quiver in Yuga's abilities. I worry in the community's ability to self-destruct it. Last night was like high school drama, and the public just watched it happen. I think it's also important to note that like OtherSide is not Bored Ape. Like OtherSide is a completely different drop. It has nothing to do with Bored Ape Yacht Club. It doesn't. It has nothing to do with it. It's just a completely different system. It's a completely different project. It's a separate project from the same company. So, it's just that the biggest fans happen to be the apes because they're the ones that have been there from the beginning for the most part. Another cold hard truth: apes need a scaling method. But I pray this wasn't a marketing prop to show that. I believe in Yuga's morals until proven otherwise. Messing with people's money isn't cool. I look forward to how we can progress this idea in ApeCoin DAO. Again, like I said, I saw data that someone from the DAO, from the board, actually posted and said this was completely new news to them. They'd never heard of it. And no one they talked to had heard of it. So kind of came out of the blue. The situation as a whole made me grasp onto how crazy this all is. I'm beyond blessed to be in this situation at 24 years old. Millionaire at 24, pretty good. Last night I was brash in my reaction and was emotionally greedy and not being able to mint an extra to my already 5 free lands. Embarrassing. Fortunately, I've gotten over that, but the community's response I cannot get over. You may have millions in NFTs and that's outstanding, but grab onto reality. When you die one day, they won't bury you in the metaverse, my friend. Leave that echo chamber, take a profit. This isn't my goodbye, apes, I'm gone. This is I'm taking a lot of profits from the circle trading extravaganza we have entered. I will always have ape 6056 and my fiance's mutant, always going to be in the community. The problem lies in the fact that the community does not mean aimlessly defending when things are wrong. Just because I made so much money with Yuga does not mean I will throw away my morals in order to keep my bags pumping. If I lose money, so be it. I enjoy being real. The truth is that the other side, apes, mutants, dogs, it's all going to be nuts. I really do believe in it. But another truth is that we are all here to make money and have fun in NFTs. When one of those is gone, you have to make a change. Yuga has given me more money than I can imagine. For that, I am blessed. But last night was the first time in the Bored Ape Yacht Club history that I wasn't having fun. For that reason, I'm taking profits off the table. I hope the community settles down and owns up. I hope this thread serves as a reality check for you. That if you minted, how lucky you are and how amazing the space is for financial prosperity, or maybe refreshing to see an ape willing to fight his own bags in order to take a stance on something he believes in. Now, with a level-headed mind, I can say I'm excited to both sell some apes and continue my journey into the other side. Apes, I advise you to do some soul searching and see where your moral compass is currently. Mine was off and yours may be as well. Keep the humility and stay bored. So I thought it was really good. I thought it was it's a very good post. It's a very good thought. And I will say, a lot of this is just emotion because we have such, as collectors, as NFT enthusiasts, we have such a draw to this stuff that when something happens where we're pushed out or we feel like we're not included when we should be included, I think we have a natural tendency as humans to kind of react against that and say, fuck that, push it away. I don't blame Yuga 100%. They certainly could have done this better. There's no question about it. And this is also not the first time. They're going through some crazy scaling issues that nobody else is going through. They're the pioneer. The pioneers are, you always can tell the pioneer because of the number of arrows in their back. They're going to have to deal with competitors. They're also going to have to deal with every single error is going to happen to them first. Nobody is as big as Yuga Labs. There is nobody dropping this type of scale to this much activity in the space. This is the biggest NFT drop in history. There's no model for them to go off of, right? There's nobody that went before them and said, oh, well, this is how this team handled this massive influx of people. There's just no way to model it. So it's really up to them to understand that and say, okay, look, we don't have a model for this. Let's slow roll this thing out. I think if they had spread the launch over a period of a week, I'm sure people would have been pissed off as well. Oh, I got to wait a week for this shit. But I think them paying, 2.5 ETH to get the thing and then you know, maybe a couple $100 in gas would have been completely acceptable. So I hope Yuga kind of gets it. And I will tell you that, like, for what it's worth, let's see. Greg says, you're gonna have to tell me your name again, bro. I'm so sorry. I keep butchering it. It's the worst thing ever. You've told me last week and I totally forgot it. I aped in this afternoon. Ape will have utility for sure. Yeah, it will. I think it's going to be huge. They're going to use it for sure in OtherSide, and other projects are going to use it. I got to sneeze. Give me a second. See, I do that. Okay, now I'm going to sneeze. See, I say I have to sneeze and then I don't have to sneeze. That's the way it works. I think you're right. I think you're 100% correct. It's going to be huge. Master Chief, what's up, man? Welcome. How you doing? It's all summer. Yeah. And I'll tell you, for what it's worth, I found myself watching this. Afterwards, I don't know if this has anything to do with the way the Yuga drop went, but I found this on Twitter after the drop and I just watched it. And it got 6 million views, so it wasn't just me. So I'm just gonna play it. It's just, there's no music, there's no audio. It's just some random, really satisfying in a weird way, just some physics. You know, and yeah, for what it's worth, this is also like Zhang Heqing, I believe is like one of the top ministers for the Chinese Communist Party. Like he actually is a government official or something. So you know, whatever that means, doesn't have anything to do with anything. I just found this to be really satisfying after the whole like Bored Ape fiasco, the OtherSide fiasco, as I was trying to recenter myself. Yeah, see, the truck makes it. Look at that. You gotta get yourself a giant red truck, everybody, if you want to get over that giant bulge. Anyway, yeah, so I did end up, so, you know, because I'm a Bored Ape, I was able to get a plot. So I got a plot from being a BASE holder and a plot from being a Macy holder. You know, who knows what it means. One of the challenges that I have just as a collector with the collection is that, look at this truck. This bus? Are you kidding me? Give me a break. This one's actually really funny. Wait, crunch. Look at that. Oh, it just launches. That's pretty epic. Look at that. So one of the challenges that I have with the Yuga, the OtherSide thing, is that the people are having a problem trying to figure out value because it's not a PFP. So everyone is trying to look at it right now as a PFP and trying to find the rare this or the rare that. But they're dynamic NFTs, very similar to adult fantasy NFTs. They're dynamic NFTs, so the rarities types are different. And so I find it very interesting watching how people try to determine rarity and all of that good stuff. Is it? Make sure all AF can use your plot. Oh yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I don't even know what it's for yet. Like, how do you use a plot? Is it a plot? Like, you know, I have no clue what it's about. I really don't. What's your Discord handle? I'm in Discord, but not associating the two. Oh, there you go. Dusty's just yeah, he's distributing the BAMF. So you're getting paid to be here. You're getting paid. Anyway, so what do you guys think? Did you guys participate at all in the mint last night? Did you watch it from the sidelines? Did you get the popcorn out? What do you guys think? How would you guys have handled it? I'm genuinely curious. If that was your launch and you had to if you had just a massive audience like that, what would you have done? I'm very curious. Let's see. Get back here. Oh, Master Chief. It's going to be pro bono. All right. Willie says, all unclaimed BAMF goes to Willie D. Yes, Willie. Welcome back, Willie D. Welcome back, man. You're going to win tonight anyway when we do the after party. Speaking of after party and everything. So here's what we got coming up. We got a lot of stuff coming up this week. We have 2 AMAs. The first of which is tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, here, I'm going to pop this up real quick. Get over here, share screen. So tomorrow night, we're going to be talking to our friends over at Unethical Cupid at 9:30 for a YouTube AMA. So they're going to come on. It's going to be our regular evening alpha. It's just going to be an AMA instead of news stuff. And then we're all going to head over to our Discord and we're going to do a screening of their show, their episode 2 for Roads to Rome. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm super curious to see it. You get a sneak peek screening of Roads to Rome in the Adult Fantasy Discord. We're going to have an AMA. Also, participants are going to be entered to win a free Unethical Cupid's NFT. So if you show up, come to the screening. And you could possibly win an Unethical Cupid's NFT. I'm really curious to talk to them. It sounds like a really cool project. We're going to be doing a lot more AMAs. I really am interested in talking to as many people in the space as possible. Also, it's really been interesting to see over the last couple of months. There really is a strong Web3 storytelling clique kind of growing, where there's several projects now that are all experimenting with decentralized storytelling and IP development and all this kind of stuff. So we're super lucky that we've been doing this for a minute now. We're kind of like in the forefront of it, and there's some amazing projects out there, like absolutely incredible. More car versus balls. Okay. Yeah, right. It is actually really, really fun. It's really like an engaging thing. Let's see here. Let me bring it back. Give me a second. Ray just says, where do you see episode 1? That's a good question. I don't actually know. I can find out. We can find out for you. It's actually a really good question. Maybe we'll try to find that for tomorrow. I'm assuming it's going to be in their Discord, but maybe we can get a link to YouTube or something. This is just so super engaging. Look at that truck. No. I also like how they call it a giant bulge and not a hill. Just saying. Oh, look at that. This right here should be a game. Right? Like if this was a game, I would play it constantly. Just random cars. Like give me like, 10,000 PFP auto cars and a giant bulge, and let me just like set it up to rocket across different wind conditions, different obstacle conditions, different speeds. Car versus Heinous. Dusty says this should be our evening game. Hey Flint. Hey, Flint, I think we have our next project. I'm only half kidding because this is actually really engaging and fun. I absolutely could see this as a demolition derby. Mastiff says demolition derby. For sure. Oh, I'm telling you, it's really engaging. Look at this. Come on. Look how high that rockets. That's insane. Look at that. Ugh. I'm sure everybody on that bus is fine. Don't worry about it. Everyone's fine. Everybody's fine. Now, I gotta say, I've never seen a truck like this. Do they really have trucks? Maybe in China. Do they really have trucks that have like double stack like this? That seems pretty dangerous to me. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Should have tried going around it. Just saying. Anyway, guys, that's it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Evening Alpha, always rocking hard. AMA tomorrow. Then we have another AMA, I think, on Friday night. We'll tell you about that one soon as well. If there are any projects out there that you want us to talk to, that you want us to collab on and do an AMA or a giveaway with, let us know in Discord. Let us know. I really want to start. Dusty and I are working really hard on getting more people together, and really bringing communities together. I want to do more and more AMAs. So, thanks, man. Best. Absolutely. With that said, head over to Discord. We're going to do an after party. You know how we do it. We're going to do games. Everyone's going to try to beat Willie D because he's going to win. I don't know what's on the plate tonight. I don't know. Do we have any games? Dusty says, yes, you can drop me a line anytime on a project you want us to hang with. Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're in there, man. If you are a member of another group, it makes it easy for us to reach out and say, hey, some of our members are in your group. We'd love to do a partnership, do an AMA and start talking. I think it's totally ready to go. Party time. Excellent for sure. All right, let's see what games we're going to do. Head over to our Discord, pop in, say hi. Let's just get the after party started. I love you all. Thank you guys for coming out, and I will see you guys tomorrow night on the next Evening Alpha, which is an AMA. So it's